Warning: the following video will consist of an analysis of and predictions of what I believe go down in a special coming up in the fall, consisting of copywritten material owned by Paramount Pictures, Viacom, Comedy Central, and the duo of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the current rights owners to South Park. This will consist of highly controversial political opinions, hypothetical plot spoilers, hypothetical, not actual, foul coarse language, callbacks to past seasons, and other mature content. Viewer discretion is advised. This is protected under the Fair Rights Usage Act of 1976. Just because I say the content does not mean you can throw me off the air. That said, let's begin. We know on Wednesday, June 1st, South Park's Streaming Wars special airs on Paramount Plus. So we're going to skip that. It's basically Cartman finally getting his comeuppance for moving him and his mother into a hot dog just so they can get his house back and get everything he once had back in his possession by letting his mother get a job, reclaim one of her old jobs. Let me put it like this, fat ass. You brought that on yourself. That said, with the election coming up around the corner, and I think this special that I'm going to discuss now is probably going to air in September. I believe this this special's plot is going to revolve around Leopold Stotch, aka Butters. What if we saw during the COVID special, post-COVID specials, during the time he would have been grounded by his parents? I mean, seriously, he should just kill Steven. He should just basically kill his old man if he's constantly going to ground him for being the complete asshole that he is. Steven Stott should end up dead for how many times he grounds his son, and his mother should be sent to a loony bin. His mother and grandmother should be sent to a nut house for how much they abuse him. Anyway, suspicious of how the last election panned out, Butters decides to go into Inspector Butters mode and investigate how Biden, the quote unquote most popular elected president, which people are realizing he's nothing but a fucking imbecile who deserves death. But anyway, or at the very least is at death's door with dementia. But that said, he decides to investigate how this could have happened. So he rounds up some of the most intelligent kids in the school. Those being, specifically, aside from himself, Wendy Testaberger, Heidi Turner, giving her a bit of something to do since the end of season 21, Kyle, and Token. Now, why these four? Token, because he's very level headed. Heidi, because of her work during the investigation of the infamous Skank Hunt troll Skank Hunt, and back in season 20. Kyle, because he's very studious and observant. And Wendy, because she wants to fight for an active cause. Now, at one point, do I suspect Cartman to try to get himself on the investigation team and try to undermine it? I do expect that fat bastard to do it and to sabotage it. The little son of a bitch is a chaotic, evil character to the core. He's all about neutral. Is a character that borderlines between neutral evil and chaotic evil to a core, into the core. Anyway, in their investigations, Butters finds a link between election fraud and COVID. and the whole deal with Stan's dad fucking a pangolin. Though, however, if you look with what's coming out now, that's not the case of how COVID got loose. But we'll go with South Park's quote unquote canon version of how COVID got loose. That being said, at some point, Gerald will get a phone call from a favor owed to him that he owes to Hillary Clinton. If you remember, after she lost the election in the 2016 season, and she got a hold of Gerald's personal info of the troll Skank Hunt 42. This forces him to come out of hiding and reemerge as said troll. Now, granted, while the internet may be wiped clean as a sheet in South Park's canon, once Kyle sees this, he's gonna rat his old man out. Now, granted, this will get Cartman mad and be the seed of mistrust he can plant within the investigation team to get Kyle out and undermine Butters, and more importantly, try to get back on Heidi's good side. But we all know Heidi is not buying it this time around. She knows how badly Cartman fucked her up in season set 21. She's not going to risk that again. This time, she's going to try and stick up for Kyle. Now, will Kyle tell his mother about her husband's dirty dealings? I do think he could, but we know how easily angered Sheila can get. Anyway, and the only reason Hillary would call in this favor is because Durham, right now in real life, is breathing down her neck with indictments, the Sussman case being an example of this. And the fact that Hillary's been exposed as a fraud, as the one truly doing some duplicitous actions with Russia, giving a fake spy warrant to FISA and the FBI to probe the Trump campaign and even undermine Trump while he was spy on Trump while he was in the White House. And let's just say it's going to open a whole can of worms. And Stan's dad and Randy, well, let's say he's going to try to do everything he can to cover his tracks. I mean, Randy will go as far over the top out of his way to screw over this investigation team as much as Gerald could. Gerald and Cartman will. Now, do I believe that the kids would eventually crack the case? Yes, I do. Would it be enough to swing the midterms in the way of the GOP in Colorado? At least in this show's continuity, not in the real world. I don't know. But would it be enough to set up Biden getting indicted and eventually impeached? Again, in that continuity. In this world, I would say yes, once the midterms go the way of the GOP. I mean, because let's face it, the writing's on the wall. Biden knows he's sunk. He is a complete and utter fucking idiot. But would Butters unleash this information? I don't know. I mean, probably under the threat of getting grounded, he wouldn't. But at that point, he's got to stick up for himself and say, "No, Dad, I'm doing this for the good of the country. You can go fuck yourself. Too long you have grounded me for bullshit reasons." And this is me, my version of Butters, mouthing off at his pops. Everything I do, every little thing I do wrong, you abuse me, you ground me, you scream, you yell at me, and all of it for no reason. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not the one who should be grounded. You are. Or because you're a petty, closet homosexual SOB. but you can't get loving because his wife is just as much of a grade A psychopath. So you have to abuse your own son in order to get that satisfaction. And believe me, folks, if I was voicing Butters and if Trey and Matt had made him more like me, that's how I'd snap at Steven and Linda Stotch. If Steven and Linda Stotch were my parents, I would tell them to go fuck off, leave me alone, and never talk to me again if you're just going to do nothing but ground me all the time or abuse me all the time. Same thing with my grandmother. Granted, in real life, my grandmother is dead. My maternal grandmother is dead. And my paternal grandmother, I haven't talked to in decades. Yes, Raph, Biden did appear in the post-election '08 episode of South Park, where basically the candidates, quote unquote, were working on a heist to steal the Hope Diamond from the Smithsonian. And the Trump knockoff, I think, was in 2015. Granted, it was more of a Canadian esque version of Trump. So they had Mr. Garrison pose as the Trump stand in for here in the States. So, yes, both to an extent have shown up on in a South Park episode. And in Biden's case, that was before his brain cells started to rot from dementia. I wouldn't be surprised if what he is how he gets portrayed now is nothing more than a robot, with someone with a remote control attached to his back that allows Obama to control him from the basement, like a like a toy soldier. At least that's how I'd see it. With how Trey and Matt could depict Biden as he is now. But again, what do the kids do when they figure out the voter fraud scheme? That's simple. Blow up the drop boxes. Hunt down BLM advocates and stop them. Though this could cause a little friction between the team and Token, because Token, again, is probably the only black kid in the peer circle. He would stand up for his for his people. However, even he would realize, as level-headed as he is, I think even he would realize eventually that BLM is nothing more than a white, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure Token should see this at some point too, is nothing more than a liberal elitist white political domestic terrorist army used to scam people into siding with the black people into siding with the Democrats. Who have the opposite of what they intend in mind. Now, I don't know if this special would come out in September or in November, but it's got to be some point around that time frame for for this midterm special, and it has to have this plot thread, this plot line attached to it. Because no matter how far the deep state tries to cheat in this year's election, they're losing the midterms, and the GOP is taking back the House and taking back the Congress. That being said, That's how I think this particular special is going to pan out. The streaming wars plot is basically given away in the preview. So I'm not going to touch that one. Again, let me point this out. What I have stated was predominantly up on the political aspect was predominantly opinions, not fact. No more and no less. And I'm going to stress that in this video. And said plot I've concocted revolves around said opinions. Again, no more and no less. Anyway, that's all I've got for right now. Leave a comment, smash the like, sub to the channel. That's 2128 signing out. Till next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.